Hello, I'm Linda Wyke. I'm a member of Central Oregon SOQA, Studio Art Quilter Associates. And this is our exhibit that we finished in time for Quilt Show this year. There are 6 teams of 5 quilts each. It's a whisper project, and if you're not familiar with what that is, it's based on a childhood game where we'd sit in a circle and the first person would whisper a secret to the next person in line and so on. And by the time it reaches the last person, that person would have to say what the secret was. And it usually had not very much to do with what the original secret happened to be. So in this case, we're working with fiber arts. And we'll start here with this quilt. Now, the series of the 5 quilts are read from left to right. So starting at the first quilt here, we can see this nice composition. So the second person who she hands her quilt to saw the theme of music. So that's how this quilt came about. Then she passed her quilt on to the third person who saw the same theme, and so on, until we come to the 5th quilt, who has people walking to a musical concert. So you can see how the theme changes over time. The other criteria that we had that I didn't mention in the beginning was that each quilt was to have a width of 18 inches and a length of 30 inches. That was determined by the venues where the quilts were going to be shown. And if we look up here on the top at this first quilt, which is a beautiful sunset, that's what I see out of it. And then the next person in line, who also picked up on the sunset theme, and a landscape with it. And then the third person who saw sort of wind and motion and picked up on that theme. And this 4th person who wanted to put the laundry in the laundry basket and added a tree. So here we are at number 5, and we've got a tree. So part of the magic of the Whisper project is how it changes. And so doing this project, it allows people of varying skill levels and experience and SOQA membership to get to know one another a little better and to participate, maybe using a different set of skills that you hadn't used before. Okay, so down here we have quilt number 1, which shows a hot air balloon going over a landscape and a beautiful sunset. So the next person in line here has, again, a landscape feel to it.
And this particular quilt is for sale. Most of these are not for sale, but this one, the second one that you're seeing, is $127.
So the third person, again, has some movement in the sky and a landscape feel, and has added a tree. And now we've got more tree and leaves. And then we have the tree stump. So you can see, again, different interpretations. This is some nice quilting in the background that also has the tree motif. And up above, quilt number 1 has a village, a European village scene with some rock wall and water. And the next quilter took inspiration from that to go more with a sea feeling and adding the Viking characters to it. Third person took the feeling of the ocean even further and added a few dolphins. Person number 4 went ahead with the sea theme and added a sunset. And person number 5 went to more sunset. And then this group here, the first quilter had some nice botanical prints and incorporated that into her inspiration quilt. Handed it to the second person, who has a very close interpretation of the first one. The third person again followed along with botanical prints and basically the color theme, but then had simplified the circles a little bit. So quilter number 4 took the circle theme and added to that, and changed it from botanical to more cellular looking in a great colorful quilt. And person number 5 changed the circles into turtles. So that is how that group evolved. I think it's so fun to see how these things change. And then in the last group here, the inspiration quilt, the language of flowers, was inspired the second person, who took a riff on the colors and have it be more graphic and linear. And third person followed very closely with the colors and the theme. The fourth person took it a little different direction, followed some of the colors, kept the orange color, but changed it up. There's a lot of tree imagery in this particular quilt. And then the fifth one took the tree imagery and ran with that, and has then incorporated some circular pieces as well. So I hope that you enjoy this exhibit. It was fun for everybody who participated.